I found something in my room yesterday that looks like a midgut. So I'm going to teach you the embryology and all the pathologies associated with midgut rotation. Foregut, midgut. Midgut supplied by the superior mesenteric artery, which is this pink artery. Around 6 weeks of gestational age, the midgut grows excessively. The liver starts growing. So there isn't enough space in the abdominal cavity to accommodate all of this, which is why the midgut herniates, and this is a physiological herniation. This herniated midgut is covered by amnion, extraembryonic mesoderm, and the peritoneum. I'm removing this for your ease. This has two parts, the cranial part. The cranial part consists of the distal part of duodenum, jejunum, ileum, and it's demarcated by yellow in my model. And the caudal part consists of distal ileum, ascending colon, and proximal 2/3 of the transverse colon, which is the midgut. So this one rotates along the axis of the superior mesenteric artery once it's outside. So if you're viewing it from the front, first there is a 90-degree rotation. Ileum to the right, cecum to the left, which is not how it's supposed to be. Around 10 weeks of gestational age, it rotates 180 degrees more. So we're here, and if you do a 180, it is... Now, along with rotating, the cranial end also elongates so rapidly that it doesn't have enough space and it starts accumulating behind the superior mesenteric artery. The cranial end again was jejunum and ileum. Along with elongation, it also retracts back into the abdomen. So this is the final position. Your cecum, as usual, is on the right side. Initially, it's subhepatic and eventually it descends into the right iliac fossa. Your ileum and jejunum take up a central location behind the superior mesenteric artery. Let us say this midgut loop has done everything, but it's failed to return back into the stomach. What do you get? You get an omphalocele. It's covered by the amnion and other layers, etc. Gastroctesis is when the abdominal wall has a defect in it and there is no covering over the intestines in that condition. Now let us say rotation has stopped at 90 degrees. This is called non-rotation. In this case, the mesentery hasn't broadened and spread throughout the abdomen. There is a narrow mesentery, so there is a greater chance of volvulus over the narrow mesentery and intestinal obstruction. And malrotation is if this rotation process stops at any point. It can also be when the cecum is in the subhepatic position instead of RIQ. There's something else called the Vitelline duct. This connects the apex of the midgut here, the yolk sac, via the umbilicus. Normally, it regresses by 7th week. It's only there to aid in the rotation process. So now Vitelline duct, if it's persistent and it abnormally tethers this midgut to the abdominal wall, the cecum then fails to descend into its position. Secondary peritoneal fibrous bands are formed in order to stabilize the cecum, and these fibrous bands are nothing but Ladd's bands. And most times, these fibrous bands can cause intestinal or duodenal obstruction, which is why Ladd's procedure is done. It would be lovely if one of you can describe the Ladd's procedure in the comments. But yeah, this is midgut rotation. Thanks for watching. Bye. Also, it's my birthday. Bye.